What is up, everyone? Cody here from Sellig's Pokémon. The other day, I gave you my 3 most overlooked Sword and Shield era sets to invest in, and today I'm going to give you the 3 worst sets, in my opinion. But before we get into the video today, make sure you do me a solid, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and make sure you hit that notification bell as well. That way you're notified every time I upload new content. Let's get right on into this video and not waste any time. Sword and Shield was such a strong era. There's a lot of amazing stuff going on, so it's really hard to pick the 3 worst. Alright, first on the list, no particular order right here, we have Rebel Clash. Now, there's a reason why Rebel Clash is actually worth more than Brilliant Stars, and that is because this was during the beginning of the Sword and Shield era. Now, I am not saying Rebel Clash is a horrible set. I had a lot of fun opening up the set when it came out. However, it is overshadowed by so many stronger sets, and that is the problem here with Sword and Shield era. There were a lot of amazing sets, whereas Sun and Moon, we only started seeing some of those better sets towards the second half of the Sun and Moon era, whereas Sword and Shield, they started on pretty early. So, as you can see here, the lowest listing is 214.88. This thing is absolutely insane. These booster boxes, when the set first came out, were going for about $90. So, these have, if you bought back then, you doubled your investment. So you did make a good investment if you bought then, but the problem is we're talking about now. There are not a ton of valuable cards in this set, and value, unfortunately, even though it shouldn't be all you're concerned about, it is a big factor in collecting. People want their collections to be worth something, and Rebel Clash just does not have that. We have a few chase cards like the Golden Frostmoth, the Galarian Berserker gold card, the Rainbow Boss's Orders, the Full Art Boss's Orders, but really there is nothing really worth too much. I think the most valuable card in the set is maybe $30, $40 tops, so it's just not that strong of a set compared to some of these other sets. So, unfortunately, with how high the price is right now, I feel like this is going to already have a pretty low ceiling because it is one of the weaker sets. Now, the reason why this set is so high compared to some hotter sets like Brilliant Stars is because this was actually during the beginning of the Sword and Shield era. This is also the beginning of the pandemic as well. And as we all know, during the pandemic, we did struggle to get supply on a lot of these products. So Rebel Clash never got no excessive print runs like Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, Fusion Strike, and all those sets that are much lower in value, with the exception of Evolving Skies, which we will talk about. It's not expensive because it's a stronger set, it's because there's less print of the set, so the supply dried up. Basically, to break it down, when you're investing supply demand, that is where the value comes from. Now, a little bit of the value does come from the strength of the set, basically if something's super popular, but that also comes back down to supply and demand. If something's popular, it's gonna have a higher demand. There's just no demand for this, but there's also no supply, which is why the price is what it is. And I am pretty okay with my decision that this is one of the top 3 worst investments. Now, next on the list, let's see. Definitely not Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike is doing something right now, and didn't I just tell you guys not to sleep on this set? Just saying. I heard he called it. But next up is actually Darkness Ablaze. So, we have here 142.90. What? What does this set have to offer? It has Charizard. So why isn't this on a good investment list? You might wonder, and well, it's got just the Charizard, and the Charizard that it does have is only a VMAX. It's not a high rarity Charizard or anything. It's not a hyper rare. It's not a full art. It's nothing special. It's a VMAX card. VMAXs, you get about what, like 2, 3 per booster box if you're lucky. It's not a hard chase. I've already seen people pull more than one Charizard out of a booster box already. It's nothing. And then when you pair that with the fact that this was reprinted multiple times as well, the supply hasn't dried up enough for this to be worth too much, and I honestly think this is going to have a pretty low ceiling as well. I don't care that it has a Charizard. This actually has less value in this booster box than Rebel Clash, in my opinion. I think Rebel Clash is a stronger set than Darkness Ablaze. You may argue with me, you may feel differently because it does have a Charizard, but like I said, it's not a high rarity Charizard. That's like saying the Team Up Charizard is what holds Team Up like afloat. That's why Team Up's $1,000 booster box. The Team Up Charizard's non-holo rare. You know what I mean? It's not a high rarity card. But that's the type of argument you'd be making, essentially, just because it's a Charizard. I don't really have much more to go on Darkness Ablaze, really. These booster boxes, I feel like, are awful value for $142. You will not get anything near your value out of this set if you were to buy this booster box right now. It's not worth opening. And that's another thing you want to look at when buying booster boxes for investment. You want to buy something that is worth opening too, not just because it's going up in value, not just because everything sealed goes up in value, which is not that it's false, but it is a very vague statement to make that everything sealed goes up, because some things just are, your money's better spent putting into certain things versus other things. And that's why we're making these types of videos, so you could kind of figure out by process of elimination where your money is better spent. And you investing in sealed product, if you have something that is desired to be opened, that makes it an even safer investment, because that's going to have that demand for a long time. And I just don't feel that Darkness Ablaze has that. All right, last but not least, we're going over just 3 today. Like I said, this is actually not an easy list. It really is not. And, guys, we got Battle Styles over here, and it's not on the list, and I will explain why. Because look at this price right here. We got listings as low as $88.64. I don't care what you have to say about this set. The fact that you could buy this booster box for $88.64, it probably will not see another reprint. I feel like Battle Styles is not a terrible investment because of the price point, and it does have a few things that make it strong. It does have the alternate art Tyrannotars. It was the first set to offer alternate arts. The Urshifus are liked by some people, and Polion is definitely a beloved Pokemon, and it has a Golden Houndoom and a Golden Octillery. Those are some strong Gen 2 Pokemon. It's not heavy with value. It's not, but it has more value than Rebel Clash. It has more value than Darkness Ablaze, and it has more value than what we're going to talk about next. And like I said, I did want to touch base on Evolving Skies as well, because look at this price here, $267. Who out there is going to actually buy that, to pay that price to open up this set, when you know the chances of you actually pulling even half of that value is probably like 10%, if that, to pull half the value? All right, this is not a set that you want to open up if you're going to pay this for a booster box. I'm just putting it out there. This is not the time to buy to open up. I would look for sleeved packs at Walmart's or something like that, or look for auxiliary products that have Evolving Skies in it, because this is not an okay price. And yeah, I'm sure this will go up more in value, but I don't consider this a safe investment. So I wouldn't even put this in one of my best investment videos, to be honest. I feel like it will have a high ceiling compared to all these other sets, but there's going to be a lot of things that Evolving Skies does lack. Like, it's not going to be an easy set to want to open when you know you're not getting all that value. So I do feel in that regards, there are some stronger sets out there that will probably catch up in time, and we'll talk about that in another video. But last but not least, we do have Sword and Shield base set. This was actually a really hard one for me, because Sword and Shield base set was the first new set for me after I got into the hobby. I got into the hobby around Cosmic Eclipse, but it wasn't actually new when I got in. This is the first set like I got hyped for because, like, you know, the new era, the booster box is coming out. I was so hyped. I got some booster boxes for myself. I ripped open, got me Rainbow Marnie, got the non-Rainbow Marnie, I got the Gold Zacian. I had a lot of fun with this set. It does have a Snorlax, a Lapras, VMAX, very cool cards. However, the set does lack some of the value that some of these newer sets do have. A lot of these newer sets have cards that are worth over $100 now, whereas Sword and Shield actually never even had a card that was worth over $100. Even Zacian, when it was at its high, it was like an $80 card. So, and that was the best card you could pull out of the set, and then Marnie being the second best. The fact that it's a base set I keep that in mind. All right, and I do think base sets are something worth holding. However, a lot of times base sets also aren't as strong. A lot of times Pokemon's still learning when they're getting into this new generation, what the collectors want to see. And unfortunately, they didn't learn fast enough with this set. So the fact that there's not the value in it, and the fact that it's such a high price, we're looking at $260 after shipping to buy a booster box of this. I feel like it's just way too risky of an investment because you're not getting the value. And the reason it is so high, the reason why this is almost as much as an Evolving Skies booster box is because this was right before the pandemic. And this is the short print run really does reflect the price here. All these other sets got multiple print waves, whereas Sword and Shield did not, and that is why it's worth so much. Not because it was a better investment, because of the lack of supply. So these were my worst 3 investments of Sword and Shield. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with these investment choices, and as always, everyone, I appreciate the support. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Let's make like Charizard and keep this passion burning.